Hello, it's Mia here from my studio in Pretoria Capital Park. I'm in the garden outside actually, so we've got a lot of spotlights on our project here. But I love the night painting, as you all know by now. I love just being creative, and the noise is gone and it's a bit more quiet. So that's quite nice for the recording as well. Okay, so what I've done here, I've done some prep work already with some decoupage paper, some napkins as well. So that was my prep work for my collages. I've also already, with some chalky paints, I've done grey, country grey, a nice duck egg here. I've got a salm colour here, which is melon and so on from Choco. So I've used a few colours, and I've just basically blocked out and planned what I wanted to achieve in a way. Okay. So where I'm going now, I want you to show you, I've also, after I've done the chalk, I've put a coat of Mod Podge on it. You can use acrylic sealer as well. I just like the chalk colours because they're vintage based, you know, their colours are soft and it just underlines the vintage flowers, it makes it soft and that kind of thing. Okay, so what I've done here, I've just already put the Mod Podge on, as you can see. So we're just going to go ahead and change over to oils now. Okay, so what I've done here, I've got a lovely crimson, alizarin crimson. I've got a bit of cadmium red. I've got my cobalt blue, Payne's grey, white, bit of chrome yellow, which is quite nice on roses because you get a softness on it when you mix it with the white and the crimson. And then I've got also my yellow ochre as well. So those are the colors I mainly work with sometimes, but I change a lot, you know, you adapt and play around and experiment and so on as well. So for the flowers, what I'm going to do with it is I want to just make a softness to the roses as well. You see, I've already made blotches of flowers there, but they need some high definition. And what I'm going to show you, which is quite nice, is to do some palette knife working as well. I just think I need a little bit more white, maybe, because we're going to do some palette work in our work, and that requires quite a bit of hefty paint. I use Winston & Newton, Zelen, Daler Rowley, mainly those oil colors. Remember, you paint your brushes with, I sometimes use a bit of oil paint that I mix with turpentine and raw linseed oil, and that is genuine turpentine, which is quite nice. Then you get a lovely liquid sort of feel mixed media. It looks like this, it thickens over time, which is quite nice. So I sometimes use it just to sort of give a softer oily, to extend it. Also, when you can do a lot of blending and washes with your turpentine as well. I sometimes use paraffin as well because the fragrance of it, or white spirits even. Okay, then it's not so bad for your nostrils. Okay, so let's see at that. I'm gonna just play with the roses first before we go to our lovely vintage French jar here, or vase as such. So I'm just gonna take the roses out to play, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a bit of the red, add it to the white, a bit of the crimson there, and just really get a feel of a nice softness. Look at that color there. We can I'm also going to bring a bit of the crimson in there. Okay, so there's my colors there. You can see the colors already there. We're going to go a lot with white and just to bring it outside. This is my shady color. So when I do the roses, I just want to show you how I do roses. There's so many ways that people do roses, so I'm going to show you different ways. Okay, so what I sometimes do, I would go with this, where I just bring in a sort of a leafiness here. Okay, and I bring another leaf in here, something like that. And then this is more like a peony almost. So I'm going to play around a bit of the edges here that it's soft. And then what I would do is from here, I would go and just play with the color that I would take it out here. That it just goes, oh my word. I'm going to take a color just to play with it a bit. We just get the color a bit out. I just want to highlight those colors there. That as part of my flower is lighter. You can see my light sources from that side. So I'm just going to play with that color and bring it a bit lighter. Okay, just from that edges there. Okay, I'm just edging up and blocking out color for now. Yeah. Okay. That is my highlighted colors. Yeah, I want to keep it dark on this side as such. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my palette knife as such. I've got one that's quite nice like this one here, but it doesn't bend too nicely. See, it's quite stiff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and get one that's more bendy. Look at this one, how lovely it goes. Okay, so when I'm going to show you a bit of palette knife work now, how you can really make a rose stand out with nice colors and so on as well. Let's just don't forget that we want the centers a bit dark as well. Okay, so there I'm just putting back the centers that I want dark. Okay, there's a center that's dark. Okay, so I'm just playing, I want some highlights as well, and when I look at my roses, it's very important that your vase also shows some light colors as well. So when I take my white as such, okay, I'm going to take my white and just use it. I've mixed a bit of the pink with, I can take a little bit of the crimson just to highlight it, because white on its own is very dull, you know. So a little bit of the yellow would just maybe lighten it a bit. Okay, I've used some, what do you call these boards? There's so many Perspex glass tiles I've used in the past, but they fall and break easy. I've become where I want to travel light, and I just use stuff that's easy. This is like more like a polystyrene sort of thing that I'm using as well. Okay, so what I'm doing now, I'm just gonna do my flowers now, and I'm just from here on flowering in. Okay, look at my flower coming out. I'm just showing you. I'm gonna take a bit more white there. Okay, and I'm just going to bring the flowers. So what I do with what you need to do when you do this is make sure your palette, you turn it this side and there you press it. And when you take your paint, you want the paint to be at the bottom of it, né? So your paint is going to be scraped from the bottom, from the sides. Okay, so for instance here I'm going to go with another, and I'm going to do a bit of a leeway. Look at that softness there, né? Okay, so what I do is you don't put your paint on the top. There you can scrape it off nicely. So I'm just putting it at the bottom. I've already got my colors. I'm just going whitish more now, né? Okay, but what's important, something that I forgot in a way, remember that your greenery, your foliage is very vital, because if you just have all pink and no balance, the green really tends, the leafage gives you a lot of balance. So we're going to take a bit of the blue and the green and just bring in some balancing colors with that. Okay, so I'm just going to take this color here and bring a bit of foliage in for me, because otherwise it's tend to be very dull and grey and whatever. So I'm just going to bring some leafage in for me, nice and just with a bit of edges that I bring. I'm going to soften and detail it later. I'm just now just doing placements as such. Okay. Some foliage. You can see already it's looking better just by having a bit of green and not all the pink. Otherwise the pink is too overbearing in a way. Okay. So there's some foliage there, and I always point it like that just to soften it, like chips almost. Ne? You can use a lot of chips just to soften edges and so on as well. Okay, so there I would go a bit there, and I would even from there turn onto those flowers that are already there. Okay. What's important for me is to take a bit of the darker color, the Payne's grey. I mix that with my darker color. So I'm just going to go here and there. Remember, you're working with a very light, but you painting, but you need to really go and make some contrast. The contrast is vital. I would go, for instance, for a bit of purple with the red and the blue, the cobalt blue. You get a nice purple, and that purple will make such a difference in the painting, just to bring a bit of contrast in for you as well, especially with the leafage in the more center, just bringing a bit more dark in for you. Okay, that purple I'm also going to use to make my shaded area here as well. because remember this vase that I'm having here on my table here, I wanted to also throw a bit of a shaded area. Okay, so I'm just going to go, and if you take your paint with a bit of the oil that I've said to you that I use sometimes, just a bit of the oil, it sort of just softens and butters it up, you know. So that is what I like about that. Look at that softness. And when you put a bit of, because a lot of people don't understand oils, they think, but it's so small and it's so thick and how do I paint? But when you soften and you do washes and you put your oils with it, really extends the paint to such a degree that it makes it, you use actually so little paint then, which is actually amazing. Okay, so there's my colors there. I'm going to bring a bit of shaded color because I want to make sure people understand that that is your shaded area there. Okay, okay. So look at that color there. And I can also take that same purple there, you know, and really go and make my centers, because every rose has got a center where it's looking towards, né? And so for instance, there's my center. Where's my center here? I'm going to make it there, for instance, there. It looks that side there, like that. And this center, I'm going to make this rose look downwards, so my center would be there. Look at this interesting color I'm developing. It's getting quite close to these ones here, which are quite nice. So that one is going to be a centered rose, which looks straight at you again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a little bit of this white with my colors here, with my pinkish colors. And I'm just going to mix some colors that I have a bit of yellow, a bit of pink together with my colors. It's not all white. Okay, so what I do here is I'm going to put my paint through there, and there I'm going to just bring my flowers in again very thickly. See, the paint is thick on the bottom, and from there I scrape it down. Look at that lovely feel that I've got with the roses there. And even if you want to do a bit of a curve in it, look at that curve as well. It just sort of softens it as well. Now those are roses that I've done with palette knife work, but I want to show you how you do it with the brush mainly, so that you, if you want something softer, you can do that. Because so say for instance I want something softer, I can go with this one here and just really go and make a soft rose here. So what I do is I can make for me a center here. It's like two commas going towards each other, into each other, and then around it I just spread it out. Look at that softness there. Okay, and there I've got a lovely soft rose looking towards the bottom as well. Okay, and let's take the roses. I want to take a bit of oil again just to make it softer. Okay, it just helps the paint to be more user-friendly, as they say in IT terms. Okay, so what I would do is I would even here make a bit of a, you see, two commas, and then just slightly over. If you make it just that it surrounds it from small to a bit bigger stems, and then you can make some loose leaves as well. What I like about these roses, they look towards something, but you can't make all of them looking towards the direction. You have to make one or two just looking straight at you, otherwise the balance is a bit off. So this one here I'm going to focus on making towards myself. So there, look at that beautiful feeling there. Lovely towards yourself. Okay, how does that look? Now I like roses when they're looking towards me. I just add a bit of, even if you've done the brush work, you can still bring in some nice, look how nice that looks, hey? Just to sort of etch it out in a way. Look at that. Okay. Now for my rose, my vase itself, I'm going to take a bit of white, and you can see you've got your dark already here, but you want to indicate it's a light vase, a white sort of off-tone sort of vase. So what I'm going to do is I'm really going to take the white and really spread it nicely. So it sort of goes. This is where I do more of a feeling with it. Look at that softness that I get here. And then my white is really thoroughly spread there. You see, you get a nice rough edge sort of look for it as well. So my white is almost up here. and just bring it to the front there. There's too much pink. Just be careful that you don't put pink on now, because the pink really can, pink is a very, even red can be a very intimidating color as well. So keep your whites white when you do this. And then I'm just going to go with my color and really spread it towards that side as well. You see, and there I'm just having a nice, so sorry for the roughage with it, but there, and even here I'm just going to indicate that it's sort of, even my vase tilt here, nice. You see, you're just suggesting things, you're not actually detailing it. Okay, even there with my handle, there's my point there. You're just basically taking the point of the knife with a little bit of paint on it, and you're just scraping it, just detailing. Okay, look at that, just detailing, and go a bit lighter, and there I go. And the same color that I've used here, I can bring a little bit of white in there, just to show that my light source is coming in from there. So I'm just going to go with a little bit of the white here. I can take a bit of the buff with it if I feel the white is too much as well. Okay. But this is a nice way to just cover your tracks, that you just have a bit of a softness towards it. And I'll bring it even over into my design a bit, that it doesn't stand out. Look at that softness that I create there. Okay? Okay, you scrape it off and you pull it further. And look at that loveliness that I've created there. And immediately you know where your light source is coming from. Okay, I can bring it even in here a bit. Okay. So this is just spreading the color and just making it a bit even, that it looks like a painting. You don't want everything to be flat out, and like, you know, you want some texture and design with it as well. Okay, I can now even take some greens and colors and just blend it in towards my design. Okay, so there's my design, and I can take a bit of the pinkish colors that I've used, and even, remember, I've used roses now, and they're quite thickly done, so it can take a while to dry as well. You know, when you work with paint this thick, it can take about 2 to 3 weeks before it starts dry, eh? So and paint can take like forever to dry. It, even some of the old masters still have particles still moving in them. Okay, but touch dry, once it's touch dry, then you can, I don't really varnish my paintings except when it's outdoors like this one. You want to put copal varnish or something marine varnish, something that even you even get matte varnish, which is not as glossy. I would really recommend, when you put this outdoor, to mount it. This is an outdoor art piece in my eyes. I've used a satellite dish and I've upcycled it to an actual painting. So when you do that, really go ahead and make sure you varnish it well, that it can handle your rain and your storm and your weather and whatever you have, you throw at it. What I also want to do is I want to make sure this painting is rounded off now and then. So I'm just going to go with a bit of paint. This is where you get quite creative. We're all nearly at the end. I'm just going to take some of my paint spray here. Okay, show how you do. Okay, and I'm just going to go with a stencil and put some detail in here. Okay, I want to make sure you have it at the right angle. I want to just make sure they understand it's a French design that I have here. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a bit of a wording and a French design there. There's a number 3 there, which I quite like. A little bee. Let's just see if I can get a better brush maybe. That brush has definitely had its days. Oh, just wait, I'll get one now. Okay, get some paint scraping. Sorry, that's when you have only 2 hands. Okay, and there I go with my detail. My little bee and my butterfly. And I'm just going to do the bee for now. But I love wording. I must be honest, I'm really a sucker for nice wording. So what I would really want, really, is to just show some wording there that's sort of French based. Okay, so my colours are a bit almost finished. I'm just going to go on the red there with a bit of that. Payne's grey and alizarin crimson makes the most beautiful colour there. So I'm just going to go on this one here and just sort of make a wording there. Vulva Marie, okay, which is sort of a French kind of word for. Let's just get that one right there, and the number 3. And then when I lift it, you've got a lovely French design there. Just so you can have a detail. Sean, you can come close if you want to zoom in or what. But that's what I've sort of got as such. Okay, and what I find that is interesting with this is you don't have to do much to make it pretty. You can see this is sort of a very, we've blocked out some flowers, bring it out and just sort of bring a detail in. Okay, and then the most important part of the whole process is just sort of making sure you've labeled and named it. Okay, so what I've been painting, just a bit about me, for 17 years now. I've been giving workshops and I've been around the block in terms of learning a lot, and I don't keep my detail effects back. A lot of people just show tidbits and they make a lot of money out of that, but I try and show as much technique that you're able to really learn quickly from that and be self-assertive and have confidence to paint on your own quickly, you know. Okay, so I'm just going to put my name here. I'm Mia, and I also do a lovely fabric designing. These are one of my designs. This is what I've got dressed in today. We've done a few demos, so I don't always wear this dress. So what we do is we actually do fabric designing and by the meter on linen, fleece blankets, even velvet, which is beautiful. Mixed linen, even bonbon for clothing, and we've got a ton of. I'll put underneath here for you the website where you can view some of the designs and draw out the catalogue. And there's an online shop busy that a lady's working on for me, where you can actually buy by the meter and it gets delivered to your door. Okay, thank you. So this is it from me. I'm just going to bring a bit of detail in here and there, and then I'm done. See. There. Okay, so this is all from me. Thank you for joining me tonight. My dogs barked a bit, I know, but they are part of my family. And thank you for being so patient with me. Have a good evening. Bye.